David, you sent the team a chart with the message, is college a ripoff? For most, sadly, yes. Why is that?
Well, higher education has failed our youth in a significant way. And I say it on the airways all the time. Look, I went to school. My brothers went to school. My sister went to school. But you need to go with an intention of knowing what you're going to get out of school. And, of course, when you went to college 40, 50 years ago, one, you got an education, but two, you got connections, and you learned, how those what you learned would be applying in your career, so you could provide for your family. Today, all that knowledge is on the internet, so there's no special knowledge you can't get, and with AI, that's only going to get faster and easier. The problem is these degrees are not delivering reasonable results for the cost of what they're getting. And of course, the reason is very simple: we guarantee the loans by the federal government, so why would anyone lower their prices? If we had a system where, hey, we're going to reward you based on what you actually do in society or tied it to it, I say make the colleges guarantee the loans, prove that the education you provide is worthwhile, and it would provide. But the statistics are right here on the graph. We have one showing you right now. The cost of college tuition is up almost 700%, right? Versus everything else has gone up about 200%. So this
is from 1985 to 2025.
Yep. So basically, after the last 40 years, the cost of education is inflated at almost 4 times the inflation rate of everything else. And they're coming out, they're not getting better paying jobs.
What
we talked about
racket.
This. Well, because it's guaranteed. Again, take the guarantees away and this solves itself, right? And of course, I think it's great to get public education. I think it's great to get a higher education. I think public education can be a phenomenal thing, but we keep wasting money. Of course, the graph I've showed it here before is we've not grown the teachers or the student base. We've grown the administrative bodies on top of this. Your wife has had that complaint, right, in private conversations and right here in public schools in Omaha. So we have to get serious again about this debate. Education, by the way, in the world, we were number one in 1974 when we introduced the Department of Education that has basically effectively been shut down this year. We're now 34th, out of the top 50 countries. That's a pretty sad state of affairs with the economic productivity that this country engineers. So, I'm a big fan of guys like Mike Rowe telling these kids, look at other options. You could go do the military for a couple of years, get yourself, some discipline and maturity, serve your country. You could go to a vocational or tech schools and get a very viable career that pays you immediately upon walking out of there. And you don't have to go into debt, or if you do, it's minimal to achieve real skills that you can apply and use anywhere. And I would just tell you, so if you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, certainly higher education is probably the route to go. And then you further that education. But I have my oldest son, he's 29. He took a while, but he kind of figured out when he got motivated. And I was like, look, I'll pay when you're ready. And the first semester's on me. And if you get grades, I'll keep paying the check. And he did. And he came back from a wedding. His friends were getting married, had graduated college. So he started much later when he was 24, but he cranked it through in 2.5 years, got a degree. Because he was motivated and he liked the field. He had friends working the field he works in, which is in medical. But anyway, the point being is driving. His girlfriend that he's had for multiple years now is getting a PhD from Johns Hopkins University right now. And she'll basically be unemployable. It's on museum curation. And I don't know exactly, but I'm I know she may get employed in it, but she has to wait tables right now. So she's going to get a degree that's costing her quite a lot of dollars, postgraduate degrees, 2 levels, and maybe gets a job in a handful of cities that have large museums that would afford, hire these type of people, et cetera. So all I'm saying is, and it's one thing if it's your passion, et cetera, and you got scholarships, but think through the career choices. Have your kids think through, will this degree pay for itself? And there's data out there to show a lot of it will. But you've got to choose something that's going to be hireable. And kids are walking out of college right now, and it's the worst year right now. The kids that just graduated May of this year are having the hardest time getting employed of anyone in America.
I've had the same conversations with my children. I have 7 children, and it's not a one-size-fits-all proposition. And some have gone to college, and it's worked out well for them, doing well. One of them has a 2-year associate's degree from Metro. I'm very impressed with Metro Community College here locally, the more I've learned about it.
It's fantastic. And none of that is, unfortunately, we had a stigma out probably in the 80s and 90s. If you didn't go to college, you were less than. You were thought. I don't think that stigma's there anymore. So I think a lot of kids now at least are learning. They have the freedom to go. And there's actually a website called theuncollege.org, and it's sponsored by a ton of tech companies that basically create an online university for free just to see if you have some of the skills some tech companies may want to hire. So I just encourage people, do your research before you sign up and start writing
and
those
your
checks.
other point is well taken. My mind is running back now to Charlie Kirk, whom we mentioned at the start of the show, and before him, even Rush Limbaugh, self-educated
Yeah,
guys,
never went to school.
Which with the resources out there now, you can do that.
Hey, if you're looking for more content like this, make sure you check out these videos, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you'll be notified when we publish more content that will help you retire smart. Thanks for watching.